Hello, hi guys, happy Monday. Trust that all is well with all of you. I hope that you would have done something that was rejuvenating, revitalizing, something that would have refreshed your mind, body, soul, and spirit. I hope that you would have reset, recharged your batteries so that you're starting off this brand new week with your batteries at 100% and not anything lower. I'm smiling saying that because I just came from a wellness seminar that I had to speak at. It was a women's group and they were doing a Pamper Me wellness session, and they asked me to come and speak on the topic. And one of the ladies sitting down to the front on her jersey had a battery bar, but the battery was on 1%. So whole night I was calling her Miss 1%. And you know, we laughed about it. I spoke to them concerning it. I mentioned the importance, of course, because we're doing wellness, self-care, taking me time, taking a minute to pause, because we cannot run on batteries that are low. We cannot. And we did this a couple of weeks ago when we spoke about scheduling maintenance, because the cars, the manufacturers ask for the cars to come in 30,000, 60,000, 90,000 kilometers so that they can change filters, change the oil, check the brakes, etc., etc. So I stressed the importance of self-care, that it doesn't have to cost you much, and you could find different things that you could do to promote self-care, to promote nurturing yourself. I emphasize that Jesus wanted the disciples to do that, and they were busy doing exactly what Jesus told them to do, busy doing ministry. And he told them to come away by yourselves for a little while and rest. So I hope that you would have done something to recharge, re-energize yourself. I hope that you are not starting off this week depleted, and that you would have taken some time. So today, I know we spoke about a couple of weeks ago being sweet, silent if you can't be sweet. If you can't be sweet, be silent. I spoke to us about not worrying. I spoke to us about more recently managing ourselves, being quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to be angry. And then I went on to talk about Abigail and the way she managed herself in a crisis situation, because her entire household was threatened. The lives of every individual were threatened, and the behavior of the husband, David's response, and the anger that he mounted his horse with, and he told his other companions to suit up as well. Let me go, we ride into Nabal's house. And the wisdom in how she operated, that being a practice of his, so that she was quick on the draw without thinking. That woman sprung into action and saved the day. This week I want to emphasize practice. We live in a world, I live in a country, unfortunately, that has a lot of angry people that don't practice self-control. I want to encourage us, given that this is the world is waxing worse, it is getting worser. Be among, I'm hoping that it's not few, but be among the many. Let's try to change the volume of people that practice self-control, that practice being quick to hear, slow to anger, and slow to speak, that practice self-control, that practice gentleness, that practice the fruit of the Spirit. Anybody at any point in time can lose all their marbles and tell you as it is. That could happen every Monday morning. That could happen right after you finish listening to this devotional. That could happen as soon as you reach home. That could happen before you put your head down in the night. That could happen on the road while you're driving. Anybody could lose their marbles and give somebody a piece of their mind, or tell somebody off because what it is wrong with you really. I want to read Titus chapter 2 to just encourage us to practice some self-control. And you might think to yourself, well, I don't get vexed at that point. But are you always angry? Are you, your buttons, you know, long time when we had phones, you had to press button. Now it's touch screen. If you can't lock the phone, you can't make a call. Unless it's an emergency call where it's just that number to dial an emergency number. But you can't access your contacts unless you unlock it. Are you easily unlocked for people to press your buttons? Is it so easy for you to fall off the handle and just, that's it? Today's your day. And you are going to have it today. Are you? I am not saying that it is, you will always be calm. You will never get vexed. Things wouldn't happen that would irritate you to the extent where the anger, it boiling. Now the Bible says be angry and sin not. So it came and it took up residence and it here. Is there a point where you tell yourself, I recognize the emotion and I need to pause. I need to walk away, I need to breathe deeply, I need to count to 10, I need to something. So that self-control could override the emotion of anger, the feeling of anger at that point in time. Titus chapter 2 says, you, however, must teach what is appropriate to sound doctrine. Teach the older men to be temperate, worthy of respect, self-controlled, and sound in faith, in love and in endurance. Likewise, teach the older women to be reverent in the way they live, not to be slanderers or addicted to much wine, but to teach what is good. Then they can urge the younger women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled and pure, to be busy at home, to be kind, and to be subject to their husbands, so that no one will malign the word of God. Similarly, encourage the men to be self-controlled in everything. Set them an example by doing what is good. In your teaching, show integrity, seriousness, and soundness of speech that cannot be condemned, so that those who oppose you may be ashamed because they have nothing bad to say about you. Teach slaves. And he went on and he went on and he went on, and then he continues in verse 11. I'm jumping from verse 8 to verse 11. For the grace of God has appeared that offers salvation to all people. It teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passion, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in this present age. I want to pause right there. So, on 3 occasions, self-control was mentioned 4 times. I want to encourage us. The things that we practice. Long time we used to say practice makes perfect. And then somebody came along and said, no, practice makes permanent. I want to encourage us to practice self-control. I am annoyed. I am irritated. I am upset. This disturbs me. This is unpleasant. What was said was offensive. These are justified feelings in any occasion. You are allowed, permitted to feel your feelings. How you respond. Permission may not be granted for all responses. You are required, according to Titus here, to operate using that constantly. Paul in Galatians. I'm going to run across quickly. In Galatians chapter 5, he mentioned the fruit of the Spirit. And he said, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such there is no law. If self-control is so needed, that means There are occasions for out of control behavior, but you I require you to practice self-control, to have self-control. He said it to the men, be temperate. Teach the older men to be temperate, worthy of respect, self-controlled, and sound in faith. The older women have to teach the younger women to be self-controlled and pure, to be busy at home, to be kind, and to be subject to their husband, so that no one will malign the word of God. He further continues and says in verse 12, it teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright, godly lives in this present age. I was in a clothes store, because I had the event that I had today, and I needed I found like all my videos, when I look at my videos, for anytime I have to go and speak anywhere, I always in a white jacket or thing, and I said, let's find something else, change up your color scheme. So I went to the store and I found this little item here. While looking at a piece of garment, a little girl in her school uniform. Now, you see the Gen Zs, that generation, that group, this little girl, you know, your mother ever rough you? Sees me with an item, looking at an item, wants to pass, and stands up with an attitude like, get out the way. So at first, I watched the girl, and you know, you're immediately, you're just like, are you okay? And I said, Melina, before you and this little girl start to squabble, because them figure they bigger, they bad, and them in charge, eh? They have a way. And I just watch, because I have a teenager, and immediately you just start to think, you looking for me to knock you out. Clearly. The disrespect, like. And I said, Melina, I looked at her and I said, sorry. And I got all the way for the tanty to pass, because clearly, you is my tanty. And there will be occasions where practicing self-control, it mightn't even seem like, no. No, something about this wrong. Something about this very off. I know. But we are required to be self-controlled individuals. That is why when James tells us to be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to be angry, is to prevent all these things that we've seen happening in our different countries, nations, wherever we may live at this point in time. Because when we slow down, you're able to calculate in your head, what is the best response in this situation? What is the best response in this situation? So sometimes it might warrant you literally, even though you're very right, even though, hey, what I can say to you will sink you. Please. And instead of sinking the person, and like I said, causing injury by your words, you pause and you allow self-control to be the fruit that you pick off the tree. There's a sister in church, she does say pick a fruit. Pick a fruit. For every situation, there's a fruit. Pick a fruit. Pick a fruit at this point in time. I'm encouraging us to pick the fruit of self-control. I don't know what your week looks like, what will happen in the week. what happens on your job on a day-to-day basis, that now that you are in office on Monday, now that you are sitting at your desk probably listening to this in the background, you are just taking deep breaths, rolling your eyes, because you just know what you're going to face, or you're in a household and there are situations, circumstances are taking place, and you just know what the outcome usually is. Pick the fruit of self-control this week. I don't know what lies ahead, but I just want to encourage us that let us, if we don't remember anything else, when you watch those African movies and when they want you to pay attention to something that they're saying, they're telling you, in here in Trinidad, you hear what I say? Are you hearing me is what your mother and them they say. They will repeat the thing holding their air. So practice self-control. I want all you to hear me. So just in case there comes a situation, a circumstance, something that warrants a response, let your response be self-control. Let that be the fruit that overwhelms you, so that when you do respond, God will be pleased. The word of God says, whether you eat or drink, and whatsoever you do all to the honor and glory of God. In every situation, in every circumstance, allow God. Ask God for your honor and for your glory. Not so that I could be justified, not so that I could make a point and I could clear my name and I could say how I feel and I could let you know that what you've done, what you're doing, what you've been doing, or whatever that thing is. God be glorified. Whether I eat or drink, whatever I do, glory and honor to God. Glory and honor to God. Glory and honor to God. So we practice in self-control. Until next time, have a wonderful week, and I pray that you will put into practice. And your fruit may not be self-control, it might be love, it might be kindness, it might be patience, it might be long-suffering, it might be whatever that fruit is. Pick a fruit and practice that in whatever the situation is. So have a fabulous week. Love you guys. Thank you so much for viewing. We're almost nearing the end where we will cover another 52 Mondays. I'm truly blessed by everyone that views, and every time I check and I see, okay, 17 view, 32 view. I am grateful for you taking your time out to listen and to hear Melina babble, and I'm hoping that in all of my babbling, in all of my exhortations, that it helps you in your daily living. It helps you in your maturity with Christ. It helps you in general. So have a great week. Blessings, blessings, blessings.